The greatest mission Diarmid Mac Mahuna bhfuil an fáilte mór a chur rót in jobh, mar táid chun ócáid líne a bheithiging in jobh chun GaelGram má áis nua a Seoladh go Oifigiu. My name is Diarmid Mac Mahuna. I'd like to welcome you very much to today's online event, a special occasion to launch my new online resource called GaelGram, and I'm delighted so many of you can be with me here today. I'm also joined by two special guests who I'm delighted are here. Muiníne is príomhaimeach with COG on Chorla ó Medachas Gaeltachta agus Gael Scolaíochta, and I'm also joined by Mairead Kilvaheel, who's Olaf Colach le Ulscoil Car Valja Áhe Clia DCU. So anna hasarm gofuil muireann agus Mairead an seo mar íana speisialta agus tuairlim mé cuireadóibh chun cainte I gceann nóméid ba chóga meiste ná na camraí a cohabhuacha agus na microphone a chur siúil I gceann nóméid. But I just wanted to begin by just setting a bit of context for today's event and showing just a little bit of the GaelGram website. So Erin Scala an seo feici sibh an leathanach baile ag GaelGram. So seo áis nua atá crutha agam agus curtha fáil agam líne. Seo an sih idirlín www.gaelgram.ie. Agus an rud atá gceist le GaelGram dar ire ná achfan nua líne chun níos mó muiníne a thuairt a dhaoine agus iad ag scríobh as GaelGe. Agus an rud a dhéanann GaelGram san si go dtugann sé an muinín sin do dhaoine ná aithníonn sé botú an litrithe agus gramadí go thuaibríoch I bríonn sé san nail agus ní amháin go naithníonn sé na botúin sin ach tugann sé cóirle conas iad a cheartú freisin. So GaelGram is a new resource I've created. It's available online at gaelgram.ie, www.gaelgram.ie. And essentially what I'm trying to do with GaelGram is give people more confidence when they're writing in Irish. And the way GaelGram helps with that is by helping identify mistakes across spelling and grammar when people are writing in Irish, and not only helping to identify those mistakes, but also to to make suggestions that actually help correct them as well. So it doesn't always get them 100% right, but it does make some useful suggestions that are all powered by a very powerful grammar engine that Kevin Scannell has built. So it's working in the cloud now with GaelGram. And just to talk a little bit more about the features of what makes GaelGram different about some of the other software I've been working on, mar tá mé gobar bugarí a cearíonn le dtína scríobh as Gaeilge le beannacht 20 bliain nuas anois nós Gael spell agus rudí mar sin. So an differ is mó le GaelGram ná gine bríonn sé gach gléas atá ag daoine. So bríonn sé san nail in the cloud agus is éad le logáil isteach nó síneadh isteach go GaelGram aon gléas atá agat agus an sin nuair atá tú legáilteach is féidir leat an Gaeilge cheartú a ón póca nó tablet nó riomhre glúine. Agus ceann na cúisine gfuil GaelGram ag obair na gléasanna fad ná go raibh annachad múntóirí a dagmhailm ag rá gur aithrig an scola go iPads nó Chromebooks agus nach raibh siad an ann Gael spell úsáid a thuile. So sin ceann na cúisine gur hasasta an GaelGram a chruthú chun gnebróg sé na gléasanna fad a bhí in úsáid ag daoine agus iad ag scríobh as Gaeilge. So that's what really one of the big changes with GaelGram now, and it's one of the big changes I've seen working in technology related to the Irish language for nearly 20 years now, is that people are now writing in Irish on many more devices than they used to, and switching between devices often as well. So a really powerful feature of GaelGram is that it works in the cloud and that you can log into it from any device with a web browser. So that might be your tablet or your iPhone or an iPad. for example. And one of the big drivers with that move towards the cloud for me was all the messages I was getting from teachers in schools, particularly in the last year, where they were saying their school had switched over to iPads or Chromebooks and they can no longer use Gaelspell or Inish on their Windows computers or their Macs even. So that was one of the big drivers. I was thought, an áthas mará gur thug cog anna haíochtm le GaelGram as my fear bríochta sin. So cog have given huge support to GaelGram, and I'm absolutely delighted that they came on board to do that. So I'm now going to try and activate Muireann's camera and invite Muireann onto stage to talk a little bit about an over a bhíonn bun ag cog. So Muireann, an féidir leat Leirtlingenish agus tacht an stáit. Costáte.
Tá mé an gleisin tú mé Iarmid?
Fecinú, tá tú beo.
Go leisce, tá mé breanúir Scáil an éagsúil. So go míle maithagat í Iarmid agus ba bhailim tréaslú leata as an áis iontach seo atá forbartha agat. I mean, is áisí seo chudói le húsáid óirí dulling le botúin agus éirí níos crinne. This is going to be it is a great development for learners of Irish and users of Irish across the whole spectrum to give them the confidence that scríobh as nGaeilge, and to know that most of their errors can be picked up by GaelGram agus is iontach an rud é sin. Vi anna áthas cog a bheith bainteach lei seo. Our work with Diarmid goes back many, many years when we started out when he was working with Agtel on videos of playground games. After that, rinne muiníne féachaint ólaíochta den tasta sóisireach with Oifigiu Hulavan, and these videos are still in use, as are the other Cluiche Close. And then as time went by, we got more into the more technical field, Diarmid. Agus I gcónaí tá sé iontach éascaí bheith gobar le Diarmid, mar tá sé chomhlán le sprid agus le fuinneamh maidir le héan rud a dhéanann sé. His enthusiasm is infectious, really, about technology, and his love of the Irish language and trying to promote Irish in Tamar Fad. So, maidir le cog, bíonn muide gobar leis na scoileanna, bíonn muide gobar le múinteoirí agus le daoine óga, agus is dúchlan a gcónaí a lánacha. It's a great challenge for many people. Bheith scríobh as nGaeilge in the educational field, and then also go sosialta. Being in near a goni, there are many people always concerned that gnenny should button and the big red biro nightmare comes out. Ach le caur GaelGram anish beg muntorian on las seo a riint ins na scoilena leis na scolari agus beg antarva le seo. Le blian and us, for the past year, as you're all aware, we have all become far more used to using technology. Agus tá sé tráthúil gur, ag an am seo atá GaelGram atacht. People who weren't really on screens, on keyboards, 18 months ago, are now, we're all stuck to the keyboards. Agus. So this device or this software has become even more valuable in recent months. Mar sin, bhailim tréasú leat a Diarmid agus gannairí leat, tá súlagam ganúsáidean daoine fud an dahan an gléas iontach seo agus go mbeidh sé chun tarbh fólamóirí na Gaeilge, úsáideoirí na Gaeilge, cainteoirí dúchais na Gaeilge agus gach duine idirátara. So gur míle maith
gur míle agus mar agus tá sé smíine bheith roiint na féachaint sin a rinne le chéile fadó freisin agus gur míle agat as sin. So mas mí not is féidir le de camera bhuachas a bhic front a bhuachan is ach ní gáis mar just bhailim tá spántas beag nó demo beag a dhéanamh de GaelGram ag obair sulla déimid chun leart le maréad agus tréis an leart le maréad tá mé chun ráid legend a thuirt a ghuine chun tips for writing in Irish using all the online resources that are out there, not just GaelGram. So I'll come to that after we go to Mairead in a second. But first, I just want to give a quick demo of GaelGram in action. Maar fri mar a luig murin an sin tá a lá dína á úsáid hanna féin, so níl sé a heola go Oifigiu go dtí anois. Ach tá oscion cuaige duine hanna féin ag úsáid GaelGram go rialta, so tá sin ar aus ar fad. Agus nar héint isteach go GaelGram, nar tá cúntas a go, as I say, cúntas sé an aisce áil ar bhean tríalach, agus nar héint isteach fecinn tú an busca bra siimplí seo, agus an slí is fearr le é úsáid ná text a choipáil agus a gramú ó áit an eile. So the best way to use GaelGram is, once you have an account and there's a free trial account available, is to copy and paste text into this box from another document or from another, maybe you might have a Gmail open in another tab. You can copy it from your email into here. And then what you do is, you can, and I just should mention, you can switch the interface language to Irish or English as well, and then just sample beag the text atá curtha isteach agam, so just Aberdeen beag granúir an seo tá an asal sa pork. So there's two deliberate errors there, and I'm just going to show how GaelGram would pick them up by clicking the Shecoil Inish knappa an seo. Agus an rud is thorlú inis agus atá ceircail siad ó timpeall ná go bhfuil GaelGram as an tinalgram a dí a chruthaigh Kevin Scannell ag Shecoil an Albert who's in san nail in the freastile sa data center. Agus fecinn mid an seo gnéar an GaelGram go bhfuil an réamh litir tí ar éirí ag an tassel. So tá rá againn, is féidir sinna skipáil agus beidir tachtar ascanna I cheartú níos déanaí agus má tá ar an leag an tríalach ar an free trial is féidir leat skipáil aráig. Agus aníonn sé an céad button eile, so sé rá an seo go bhfuil séimhú ar éirí. Agus an mula atá ná sa fork. So ní amháin bhfuil GaelGram ag aithint an button atá sé tuairt mula. So GaelGram isn't just spotting the mistake, it's actually explaining it a little bit and making a suggestion. So if you're on a paid subscription, you also have the benefit of this button here, Ahrig or Change, which will actually change the text in the box for you. And then you can just click Coipoil and copy and paste the text back into your email or your document like that. So there's a couple of simple examples. Here's another couple I copy and pasted in earlier on, just to show the Ray and Lahan Rilacha at Nian GaelGram. So fecimid in Shuch mar hampla Gunyaran Shay Sakhead Albert, Gulan Ray of Litter H your Erig. So say Gashina Ahru, Shevu Ganga, and show an extra H in here. So just we can change that. It's recommending an Uru in here. Again, we can change that. And then it's a little bit more complicated here. It's saying we should say Winter N Tira instead of Winter on Tira. So it's detecting a huge range of dozens and dozens of grammar rules in the background. And I'm just going to finish on a sentence that always makes me calm, which is on down galéir fui huivness. It should be. So one thing you can do is, if you don't agree with the change, and sometimes computers don't always get it right, even GaelGram. So what you can do is you can, it's right in this case, but you can always just click oil air curranagar agus says an tahrui and of insambuska. So sin just to spawn this topic, the demo topic, the Cunas mar Ibri and GaelGram ag Shecoil alán rilacha ag Sula. Agus tá annachad rudi a tordu sa chulra. Agus to say that right in the settings Ahru, so mar hampla is féidir focal a chur leis an list the focal ag GaelGram. So you can add your own words that you might use or might be in your organization or in your school that might not be generally in the word list. You can add them in, and then you can manage that list here. Leis an knappa cur in agar. You can also set it up so that you can use your Microsoft or your Google sign-on. This idea of single sign-on. Shinu is talk shingle captain and GaelGram sin. It's at the shini and a freshen and show new mahastin at shintu sa ahru is say that a shin a yen a freshen. So there's a huge amount of happening under the hood, as some might say, and that's you can manage all that as well for your own account from this page. And then GaelGram, it works primarily in the cloud, so it reaches the nail, Decana, ach fresh tá rudi gur féidir Seoladh oil, do the Reaver a fade. So there are downloads available for your own computer as well that you can also use. So if you do have a Windows computer running Word, you can download an add-in for that, Riamhlór Ferlintach. Or unfortunately, I can't port over the add-in to Apple Mac. But what you can do is you can use the GaelSpell spelling checker on your Apple Mac. Just technical reasons I can't port over the add-in, but you can GaelSpells can be downloaded from your account there as well. So just more sort of déim go mréad is agus mréad beidir go gurfá the camera agus the microphone or shul. An rud gur féidirling I of le GaelGram ná an Gaeilge atá going hecoil hybrid agus ach níl GaelGram in isolation agus ní bhíon aine going ag scríobh I bugar a wine. So GaelGram now exists in a kind of an ecosystem of Irish language technology resources, and I'm delighted that Mairead has joined us to tell us a little bit about that wider ecosystem of technology in Irish. So gur míle maith agus Mairead.
Yeah, gur míle maith agat Diarmaid agus táim anna hásta a bheitantá chun leabhar faoin na chuirsaí technoliaachta chomá agus is tócha gúil sé déanaach sa lo agus deirte lom go bhfuil gríne mo sa sféir again, so bhéidir méid deite go an bhuafuin sféir agus ran gríne oilt. But before I start on a practical level, I know that there will be a huge demand for this because, in DCU, in Fiantra's called nGaeilge and the National Institute of Digital Learning, we have the Fáilte Airlíne.ie which is a diaspora project, which we have nearly 100,000 learners on it. And it's one of the main things that they ask us for is to advise them on what are the supports, language supports that they can have, both for written and oral supports. So we'll be delighted to get them out because, we're all the time trying to develop their competency agus rudí mar sin. So tá manna bhuaic, and I think nuair bhí mix muoine bhar an méid go nearthing mé an bhí mix muoine cinálín rudí anna. It's okay, heavy or valacoin, but it's okay on the fractals. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking about some of the work and contextualizing what GaelGram has done. And I think it's worth mentioning is that what Diarmaid and his colleagues and collaborators, and I think that's important, it's collaboration all the time, saying the GaelGramn, is to mainstream language support technology. And it adheres for me to business development and use models, which most of us accept as the norm and in commonplace for other languages, but it also allows us to do other digital activities which are really, really important, be those done bhoghlaim nu, done idachas nu, done ibra nu cibéród. So tá na rudí seo anna háach sa cóhéic seo. Is ook a rud eile faoin rud nachfuil mór an ráit ag Diarmaid fiú cos nílach méid oire ama ag eagleis na rudí ar fad a léir goibh ná. It's this notion of that through the use of the system, he will be able to, and the developers will be able to develop out the experience of the users. And I think that's a really important point that needs to be emphasized. And I think the reason why that's important is because tá na húsáideoirí could do le níos mó feidhmiúlachta a chur ar fáil, so to improve the service. And I think that's a really, it's an important thing that we all have done this in our own lives, I suppose, for go saoil na Gaeilge, but also Gordo Diala and this notion of the mehel. So for me, really the important points today is this mainstreaming of this technology for the Irish language, but also leveraging the power of data connection and open practices from the wider Irish language network and community, particularly in the context where Tommy the kind of ceiste seo ar fad nachfuil mór an airgid timp na hoite agus caithimé rá agus an takeíocht a táfáite is tócha ó cág tá sé sin Harbheith tácht a chumá chun na rudí seo a churchan cín agus chur fáil. Agus tá a gcuin ghfuil gá leis an takeíocht sin. So Jeremy seo agus muid ag súil go mór le fáiltiú an plán digitucht an Gaeilge. So we're looking forward to the publication of the digital plan for Irish. So hopefully tugi sé sin chun cín agus a rís tá an ilomid réimsíd buintach leis an bland son go change agus é ón bhela mar lína go dtí ceiste go tá puintach le próseoltanga nádúrtha natural language processing, go dtí úsáid fuama, go dtí intlocht therga AI and all of that type of thing. So we're really looking forward to this, to the publication for the digital plan for Irish. I suppose just to go back to this notion of community and open practices, like dúirt Diarmaid live go raibh sé coibrú an son ní bháin le cog but le lehéadí an tull of Kevin Scannell. And I think it's just instrumental to really point out that I don't think there's not a university in Ireland that isn't doing something in this space in some way, whether it's in an Irish language department, a technology department, or in some other lab trying to work out things. And then there's the individuals, of course, who are doing a huge amount of over chuma, chun na rudí seo a churchan cín. Agus an áiríre gan iad ní bhach an orbit atá déanta agus sin an fág bhfuil a lehéadí de Diarmaid an a háchtach agus crinóg agus an cnálín obair seo an a háchtach chuma. So when bhí me smíine siar ní bh me géirí lista annacha, but smínim siar ar lehéadí níl ó carúil bhí go bar fiúntar fada siar agus í ag héin a géirí a lehéad a chur fáil agus deirhin gomach níl an a hásta in jobh bhfuil an GaelGram churtha le chéile. Cláis in the Trinity College has a massive speech record. It does huge work with speech in and around the Irish language and canúntaí through this aber.ie, through the project aber.ie, and it's a massive project. We have GaelTech and DCU, which is it's an initiative led under Teresa Lynn, and I think we should go and look at that. And then again in Fiúntar an Scoil na Gaeilge, we were, I think when focal.ie came out, I think we had at some stage, it was ridiculous the amount of searches that were going through at it on it today. We were having million searches in Aigna Seachtain agus stiff mar sin, agus a bhd níos mó nor bhí sé teachtaí anfir na hóir teist agus mar sin de. We've Terma.ie, which is now a development. Changlin we have Fáilte Erlína, we have Buis.ie. So we have a huge ecosystem ar an North Diarmaid that is trying to support an Gaeilge agus Curchan Cín na Gaeilge. Is stocha nuair hagan an digital plan amach begus a goin ceirdí na rudí atá roing atá le déanamh agus an bound infrastructure a chur bun. An tá agam go méid gá leis na institutí, daoine éonaracha, agus is stocha an flua aintú mar go líomaidir, the crowdsourcing that we need to develop these things out to be more and more. So I think that the fact that GaelGram is a demonstration of a mainstreaming of technology, as it demonstrates to me, its real importance, and it's because of the way it looks and feels and all of that. It demonstrates how the Irish language doesn't necessarily have to ever be behind in any of these spaces. So I'm very excited for what can be developed out of this and developed for this. And I'm really grateful to Diarmaid agus Cog agus Chachéine a bhí obair le chéile chun é seo chur le chéile. I just wanted to draw your attention though to two other things that as an Irish language community and potentially those who are interested in the Irish language, that there's numerous other initiatives going on that you can get involved in. And please do look at the Rian site as well. They do have a lot of emphasis, and they do a lot of, they do a lot of things to invite people to participate. But there's notions where we know that AI is going to become increasingly important, and we know that speech, AI and speech-based tasks are going to be huge, and things like subtitling may seem only the purvey of TG Carr, but actually it's not. We know with COVID and the pandemic, subtitling and transcription became really important when we were doing teaching and learning in our classrooms, particularly in old school. So Arish just Deireachar sin bhhail príomhnachsús agus mo bhhéchas the Diarmaid agus the GaelGram agus the Chachéine a bhí ag taú leis an tionscanú seo agus tásúlagum go nairóig a geal agus má tá aine géirí tag bholaí an úlum bet tú an ná mé áilt ar Fiúntar agus Scoil na Gaeilge ar an tíomh idirlín. Gurb míle maith agad a Diarmaid.
Gur míle agus mar réidir sin an múl ar fad agus tá mé chun roinnt na háisina a luúitan sin a spáint is, so sé the camera féin a bhuacha mas níonat agus the microphone agus tá sé samú gur luigh tú Níl Ó Carúil agus artificial intelligence and sin, mar is cuoin lumsan na choráirtí ar fada bhí agam fadó le níl maidir le sína fada a chlóiscíomh as na dacratí a bhí le sin. So, the Sheena Fada is one of those things. The Sheena Fada is one of those things that's plagued Irish language writers for over 20 years. And I just want to make sure, and I did promise I'd share tips for Irish writing on this session today. I'm just going to spend the next 5 minutes or so giving a quick run through of some of the apps and tools I'd recommend and the ways to use them that I'd recommend as well, because there's a lot of resources out there, as Mairead said, and it's really a question of getting the most out of them, because it's not always immediately obvious how you can do that. So number one, I'd recommend, if you haven't done it already, download this app for your phone. Fai an app shot the own poker got Microsoft Swift Key. Is anam do? As a ruddy enishe, na curishe merchlor brescia, the own poker. Noig and with close as GaelGram nu as beirle, take the shops and settings is during the lesh shouldn't hang. So you go into the settings and you tell it that you type both in English and Irish, and then it will automatically detect which language you're typing in. And not only will it help you with your Sína Fada, with predictive texting for a word, but it will also do predictive texting for a sentence. So this is incredible. It has a huge database and it learns from what you type as well. So this is real artificial intelligence or machine learning in action. It learns from what you type as well, and it will actually predict the next word in the sentence for you and give you the 3 options on the screen. And that really has transformed how I write in Irish on a mobile device, and combined with GaelGram on a mobile phone, it means that all our tweets are that bit more accurate now. So tip number 1 is Microsoft Swift Key. An dara rud gur hasig am lua na noi na folklore.ie. So we talked a little bit about how many people are using Irish online. There's something like 30,000 searches every month on Google, just from people looking for this website. And that's not counting the people who are going to it directly. But one of the things about folklore.ie is we tend to use it quite transactionally. Téim de stach is a mach topic way. Kermit folklore stach, find it in Tashtachan, because I mean mid sheer a reach. I'm tip of echgum, so let's just tip over though. No, níos mó ama a chahal folklore.ie. So just to spend another 30 seconds on folklore.ie. And I just have an example here, Al. Here's one I did earlier of the word music, which is obviously ceol. But I was doing a webinar with Irish, with broadcasters who wanted to use more Irish in their broadcast recently. And one of the things that struck me is that they're writing scripts and they're trying to talk about music, and they end up using the same phrases over and over again. And we all do that. We get into a rut with our favorite phrases. Agus féidir folklore.ie úsáid chun cur leis an severus den screen ortha going. So mar hampla few and seo. If you see these sample sentences, so these blue sentences on folklore.ie are really great, because these are all sample sentences that are 100% correct, which makes them very handy for copy and pasting into scripts for a radio show in this case. And if you look here, we have 3 ways of saying she plays music. We have Cossin she kill, Shine and she kill, Being she ag bula kill. So immediately you have 3 different links for a trad music show, for example. And then you can scroll down here, and there are dozens and dozens of other examples of the word kill being used. That's really powerful on folklore.ie, is to use those frosty sampliche. There's also a couple of other quick things on folklore.ie. A lot of people don't know, if you click on these letters beside the translation, you actually get the different grammatical forms, again in really handy form. And then you can click on these letters C, M, and U to actually hear audio files of native speakers from different dialects saying those words. So that's really handy, in lots of different contexts, particularly learning. Tanglin is another resource, again, which is incredibly powerful, but a lot of people don't notice the drí gramadí here. So this is tip iver 3, led iver 3, na an drí gramadí seo a úsáid. Rud gur féad the end of na animacle around you, nos Albert. As an sin is said adiocht around you, nos crean. Agus an rud a horloi na go grohoi an drí gramadí seo na laginnacha gramadí fad few an tiisiil ginneach dit. Agus tá sin únta cóchtach nar bhín tú ag scríobh agus a géirí Albertí Creana a chuma. Agus an sin an rud eile hasú go me lua mar an tip derigan is na an corpus atá Greece.ie. So seo an corpus na Gaeilge có aimsire agus ma hentuisteachar seo. If you go into this on Greece.ie, this is another great way of enriching your use of the Irish language, because it includes thousands and thousands of validated texts in Irish. So you can search for example, just to stick with the ceol theme, you can search for the uses of the word ceol in all these documents. And you'll see the search I did earlier found 6,000 results. And you can start browsing through these and copy and pasting snippets out to add to your own scripts, for example. You can even do a broad search, though, and look for all the different forms of the word ceol, all the different grammatical forms in different contexts. And again, it's just a great way of very quickly getting computers to help us write in Irish, give us more confidence, because we can use these snippets of phrases in our own writing. So they're just some tips I wanted to share with you. And I should mention, of course, that tá GaelGram ar fáil ag GaelGram.ie. There is a free trial available. Tá legan tríoch sé an aisce. Agus tá planana agsúla ar fáil, síntús agsúla ar fáil do scolanna, do chuoine pásanta, agus de agriochtaí, actually, sin bhfuil a chur úntas agus áthas orm le déanaí gur bh annach agriochtaí a dagháil. So this is one of the surprises since GaelGram was just available online. Word just kind of spread even before the official launch, and there's over 500 people using it now. But a lot of those people are actually in organizations, so we're creating an organizations tier there to help organizations sign up. But my vision, my fiche is that most people will be using the free version initially, and then if they do need it for work or college or school, then they can sign up for whichever plan suits them most. And those details are on the website. So bhfuil an buchas mór I gabhfuil as a bheith lum tróna, agus le muireann as mréid, agus as a bheith lum freisin, agus labhairt ar na hábhar anna spéisiúil sin a bheoh siad amach. Tá súla gom go raibh sé seo ar fad úsáideach dit, agus an áit is fearr le dul I gcóir níos mó eolais ná GaelGram.ie. So GaelGram.ie, www.gaelgram.ie ar an idirlín chun níos mó eolais áileamach mar gheall ar GaelGram. So gur míle maith agat, tá súla gom go raibh sé sin úsáideach, tá mé fíorbuíoch arís de cág as an tacaíocht a thug siad dom chun GaelGram a chrathú, hí golóirdín ag obair ar seo lumní amháin, Kevin Scanlon go luí me le níos luithe ach Derek agus Alan ar an deara agus ar an riomhchlárú freisin, so tá buchas anna bhór ag dóibh siúd agus gur míle maith agat as a bheith lum tróna. Slán go fóill.